When you start off, you're doing everything. You're an owner operator, you're the salesperson, you're the account manager, you're in charge of finance. But the problem is when you start growing and you bring in additional people into your team, they don't necessarily know how you do business. The one main thing for us today is to create a clear and repeatable process, something that every salesperson can follow, measure, and refine.
Every year at Ramblin' Jackson, we host the Landscape Leader of the Year contest, where we invite 3 of our top clients to come and present. And today, I'm excited to share with you the winner of the 2025 Landscape Leader of the Year live stream, Stuart Ward from Buckhead Landscape and Design in Buckhead, Georgia. And here's his presentation that's going to help you close more sales faster by dialing in your sales process.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Stuart Ward with Buckhead Landscape and Design. Special thanks to Jack and his team for inviting us out. It's been a great week out here. Stephanie, my wife, joined me. We came out early. We drove down to Telluride. The leaves are amazing. The weather is cool. If anyone hasn't been out here this time of the year, I highly suggest it. So today I'm going to share a practical framework for building an effective sales process. I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm going to give you one main thing. I'm going to give you 3 points to walk away with. And if you keep those in mind, you're going to have a roadmap to how we sell. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about who we are. Buckhead Landscape and Design. We're located in the Atlanta area. We focus on the design, the installation, and maintenance of premier outdoor living spaces in the metro Atlanta area. So we put a lot of time into deciding what our mission is, what our focus is, and that really represents who we are. We also came up with the niche, We Know Buckhead. What does that mean? It means that we know how to deal with high-end clients, demanding clients, clients that insist on detail, and we feel like we meet that very well. Here is our team, some of our team. I'd like to add that we've grown probably 30% since this picture was taken. One other thing I'd like to note is I am not the one in the middle standing in the skid steer, and you may wonder who that is. So that is Andrew Ward, that's our son. And we are in the process of transitioning the company over to Andrew. He's essentially running it now. I'm just kind of window dressing. But you'll see me off to his right. But next year, the company will be in his hands. A little bit more about us. We started in 1996. It started really as kind of a side hobby for me, and it grew over the years to where I went full-time. We grew the company and really enjoy what we do. I always like to say, if you want to be successful, find something that you love and then get someone else to do it. And that's what I do. So I do love it. I would assume that many small business owners struggle with a lot of these same challenges that we have had. When you start off, you're doing everything. You're an owner operator, you're the salesperson, you're the account manager, you're in charge of finance. You do everything. And you know how to do all of it. But the problem is when you start growing and you bring in additional people into your team, they don't necessarily know how you do business. They don't know what the sales process is. They don't know how you want them to manage the clients. They don't know how to do the financials like you always did. And that creates a challenge. We created new positions. We worked with the Bach business team to really define some of the different positions in the company, account managers, project managers, estimators. And as you create these layers, these different roles, you have to have some descriptions on what these people need to do. Onboarding. I like to joke that our onboarding was, welcome to the team, here are the keys, call me if you need me. And that's how we did it. And it created a lot of problems because people were not trained. They didn't know enough about the company. They didn't know what the expectations were. And it created a lot of problems. We didn't have any processes in place for them to follow and be measured against. There was no accountability. And what happens is you end up losing employees because they get frustrated because they didn't know what was expected. So the one main thing, and I mentioned it earlier, the one main thing for us today is to create a clear and repeatable process. Something that every salesperson can follow, measure, and refine. And with this, we're trying to take away all the guesswork and create predictability. But let's take a step back. What is a process? So the literal definition is it's a repeatable set of steps that a company's sales professionals follow to guide a prospect from the initial contact to the closed deal and beyond. It creates clarity, direction, consistency at each phase of the sales cycle. So they know exactly what to do, exactly what to say, exactly what is expected. And they do it over and over again, consistently. That's the process. I mentioned earlier 3 key steps to putting this process together. You need to define the process. What does that even mean? Like, what are you trying to do? What are the different terms and phrases that you use within the company? What is a qualified lead? It might be something different for you than me. In the early days, I like to joke, every lead is a qualified lead. But that changes because you decide that maybe a certain account needs to be at a certain dollar value. It's below your minimum. Or maybe the lead is too far away from your property. You can't get there and be profitable. So everyone needs to decide every step of the way what the process is. You need to implement it consistently. What does that mean? That means now that you have it in place, you need to make sure everybody follows it. And then you measure and improve it. So we talked about defining the process. And I'll be honest with you, this is a little bit painful because you need to sit your whole team down and walk through every single step of what you want the sales process to be. You need to decide who's going to answer the phone. What are they going to say? How is the lead assigned? What is the scripting that you want to use? How do you decide if a lead is not a qualified lead? How do you tell the potential client that in a nice way? You need to agree on all the definitions. And you need to agree on the exact scripting and goals for each stage. So now you have your process in place, but now you need to implement it consistently. What does that mean? You need to have an effective CRM. You need to have templates, pre-written email templates, letters that you're going to use with the prospect, and specific scripts. The salesperson needs to know exactly what you want them to say every single time. Accountability. Now the salesperson is being held to a process that you developed. Measure and improve. What does that mean? That means now that you have the process in place, you have the salesperson who's implementing it, hopefully effectively, but it's organic. It needs to change over time. You may find that certain things are not working as well as you'd like them to. Maybe bottlenecks, maybe the estimating process is holding things up. Maybe something needs to change in the process. So this is kind of a living process that you're going to change and refine over time. So what does it look like? I know there's a lot of words on this page. You're not supposed to put so many words, but this is just a small part of probably a 20-page document. And we talked about every single step of the way. The specific scripting is going to be on a document like this. A lot of detail. So you've done all of this. You've followed everything. What's your outcome? What do you expect? You're going to get a standard, scalable sales process that your team can follow. Predictable growth, because you know you're going to be measuring success and you're going to know that it's going to produce results. New employees will have a standard to follow. Say you have a salesperson and they decide to leave. You bring in a new salesperson, no big deal, because you already have everything that you expect from them. And that's really it. It's 3 key points. Define the process, implement the process, and then refine it and keep it effective. Closing story. Some of you may have heard some version of this, but there was a sales manager and he had one of his top salespeople and he was going to follow him out on a sales call. They went out to a prospect, they made a presentation, it was fantastic. Everything went right. The manager and the salesman left the sales call, and the manager said, "Why didn't you ask for the sale? Why didn't they sign the document to close the deal?" And the salesman said, "That step isn't in our process. We never finished it. I didn't even know I was supposed to do that." So the analogy is it's like building a beautiful stairway, but you didn't finish the top step. And everyone loves to go up the stairs, but they can't get to the top. And that's like a sales process that's not finished or effective. Everyone follows it, but they can't get to the top. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out today's episode of the Landscaper's Guide podcast. If you want to be like Stu and get your sales and marketing dialed in, book a 15-minute marketing brainstorm call with us at landscapersguide.com/brainstorm. We'll have a conversation about who is your hell yes customer, how has your business changed over the years, and is your marketing working for you? Where should you focus on marketing and sales to close sales more efficiently and get more of those customers you actually want? So I'm Jack Justice. Thanks for checking out Landscaper's Guide, and see our show notes for a link to landscapersguide.com/brainstorm. Congrats again to Stu from Buckhead Landscape and Design on winning the 2025 Landscape Leader of the Year. We look forward to seeing you all at some more of our events. Thanks so much. Like today's video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get upcoming videos to help you grow your snow and landscape company. My name's Jack Justice, and check out my free resources in the show notes and click the next video to grow your business.